Hey guys, and welcome back. Today I'm going to do my 1 month postpartum update. It is June 5th, and exactly 1 month ago, Ian Robert came into the world. And he came in at 33 weeks term. Exactly. He weighed 5 pounds 11 ounces and he was 18.9 inches long. And he had a head full of copper red hair. And if you have watched any of the videos that I have done already featuring him, that hair is adorable. I'm going to touch a little bit on everything, and I'm going to start from the beginning. I've had complications with my whole pregnancy from the diabetes, which got under control very, very easily. But the high blood pressure was the main concern. My water broke on Wednesday, right around 10 p.m. ish. It happened so quickly. I was 32 weeks and 6 days. I had just eaten a little snack, and Seth and I were laying down, getting ready to go to bed, and I felt Ian like kick me, or not kick me, like headbutt me really, really hard. And I wet myself, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just peed myself. And it quit for a few seconds, and then it came back and wasn't stopping, and I immediately knew that my water was breaking. And Seth kind of was in shock because I had been having dreams for the last week that my water was going to break in the middle of the night soon, too early for us to be comfortable with. So Danielle has went through labor, so I was like, go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. Danielle had just laid down to go to bed for the night. Her and her boyfriend were like laying down to go to sleep because they both had to work early in the morning. And I remember like, go get Danielle, like this is not okay. So I sat on the toilet and it just kept like coming. It wasn't coming a whole lot, and then there was a little bit of blood, and that's when Seth started really freaking out because this was so early. We got in the car. Got in Danielle's SUV, and Dylan, her boyfriend, drove because he was the only one that was calm. Danielle was calm too, but I kind of wasn't. I was really scared. If I cry, I'm so sorry. I was really scared. So Seth called 911. And he said, hey, my girlfriend's water just broke. She's 30, she's almost 33 weeks. We're on our way. And they were like asking him a few questions, like, are we sure your water broke? And he's like, yeah, and there's a little bit of blood. So about the time he got off the phone with them, I had my first contraction. And it was a light contraction, but it was a contraction, and that made me even more scared. So we got to the hospital. They had a stretcher, all waiting and everything. And one of our friends actually works in the ER. So he was like, it's you guys. They had a bed waiting for me in the ER. But once they figured out that I had the diabetes and everything, they just took me right upstairs to the delivery area and everything, to the natal floor, the OB floor. So we get up there, and this was all a blur because there were so many, my primary doctor was actually on call for the hospital overnight. So she came in and she's like, well, we didn't want this to happen. And I literally was like, well, no shit. No, we did not want this to happen. This is not the plan. But with birth, everybody's different, and it happens. So they put me on a bunch of different medications, took a lot of blood, got an IV starting, and gave me some medicine to stop the contractions. I got in, I was dilated to 2 centimeters, and my contractions were a little over 4 minutes apart. So they were like, well, we're going to keep him in as long as we possibly can. They hooked up, the monitor for his heart rate and one for the contractions. And my baby is a mover. He wouldn't hold still ever through any ultrasounds or anything. So kind of keep this heart monitor on my stomach where he was. The nurses were constantly in all night trying to find where he was moving because he was a mover. Fast forward it to the next day. A few more doctors came in. They were talking to us about everything, and just outcomes of things. And I was like, I really want to have a natural birth. They're like, well, we're not ruling it out at this point. This is right around noon on Thursday the 5th. Like, we're not ruling it out at this point, but his heart rates are fluctuating a little bit more than we would like. So here comes around 7 p.m., 7:30 p.m., my doctor came in and she said, okay, so his heart rate is really fluctuating a lot. We're going to take him and we're going to take him via C-section. You can do it now, you can wait an hour, but we're not going to wait too long. I immediately was like, well, let's just do it now. Let's just get it over with. I was a frantic mess because they said if I tried natural birth, he probably wouldn't make it through the contractions that I was having. I was scared. Sorry. But this was all new to me. I had never been through birth or anything or been pregnant. So they're like, okay, Seth, here's some scrubs. We're going to get you in here. They wheeled me down and got me, they counseled me a little bit on everything to do with a cesarean surgery. I was scared to death. I didn't want a C-section. Like, I don't think anybody does. I had my heart set on a natural birth. I had my heart set on being able to hold him. But I knew with him being so young and early, this is what had to happen. This is what was best for my son. Anyway, leave me down there they can't do anesthesia because of the baby and everything. So they were doing a spinal tap. The first one didn't take, and it was literally almost the most pain I have been through in my entire life. My doctor was in front of me. She's like, hold on to my shoulders. She was trying to hold me up because my natural instincts were to arch my back. So the first spinal tap didn't take, and the doctor behind me is like, I'm so sorry, we have to do this again. He talked to my doctor in front of me. He's like, I need different sizes of these tubes. They had 4 tubes. He used every one. None of them were taking, and I was like, I about was losing my shit. I almost knocked my doctor down. I was holding onto her shoulders so hard, and she was tiny. Like, she was tiny. She's a little skinny, and I almost knocked her down. She had to, somebody had to bring her a stool to sit on because I was pushing her down so hard. So finally got the spinal tap in, and within 5 seconds, I couldn't feel. He had to go up higher, so from here down, I couldn't feel anything. I tried even. I couldn't even move my fingers that well. I couldn't even feel anything. So Seth finally got to come in, and he said those were like the longest 10 minutes of his life because he could hear me screaming out in the hallway. And I was like, he told me this later, but it made me cry a whole lot. So anyway, it was really quick. They got him out. He was completely blue. When they held him up for me to see him, I couldn't believe how big he was. And I was so medicated at that point that I was like, I don't want a baby Smurf. But he was blue and he was great. And they were like, okay, Dad, come cut the cord. So Seth went over, cut the cord, came right back, back to hold my hand. And they took him away. And Seth was great through this whole process. Like, he was just amazing. He's amazing anyway, but He was amazing. So I didn't get to see him till around, see, I was in recovery for almost an hour, so I finally got to see Ian around 11 o'clock. He was born exactly on May 5th at 8 p.m. on Cinco de Mayo, which is funny because I was craving tacos through my whole pregnancy. But he was born on Cinco de Mayo, and he was great. So a little bit about the next day of my life was kind of crazy. I didn't get to hold him that night. So the next day I was, you know, really out of it, and the doctors came in, my doctor came in, and she's like, okay, well, we're gonna look at your surgery scar and everything, and everybody kept asking me if I wanted to see it. No, I didn't want to see it. I did not want to see it at all. They're like, it's about yay big, and I'm like, it's like, how did a whole body come out of, I don't know. I was amazed with the size of, they were telling me the scar was not even as big as my head, probably like this. That's how big this, yeah, like from here to here. So anyway, the recovery from the C-section was probably the most difficult part, but I will talk more about that in another video because I'm running out of time. But that was just the birth of Ian, and he was great. I will go through the recovery that I have done so far and his NICU stay in the next video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this so far, and stay tuned for part 2 of the 1 month postpartum video.